So before I demonstrate exercise, does anyone have any more exercise-related questions? Maybe anything we didn't get to yesterday, or anything that's come up for you, or anything that wasn't clear?
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Is it better to eat before or after you exercise?
Yes.
And then what would be, because like when I exercise, especially if I'm working out like hard, weight training, cardio, I'm starving after I eat, after I finish exercising. What would you say the best meal to eat after?
I'm sorry, what's the best meal to eat after?
Yeah.
Fruit.
Okay.
We're fruit eaters.
Mhm.
So it doesn't matter what you've been doing, the best meal is going to be fruit, because that's what our bodies are intended for. Okay, if you're exercising, fruit. If you're not exercising, in that case, it's fruit. Okay, if you haven't eaten in a week, fruit. If you just ate earlier today, fruit. If it's cold outside, fruit. If it's super hot, fruit. Okay, if it's a Tuesday, fruit.
What's best
Right.
for exercise before the...
It's always best, and we did talk about this yesterday, you do not want to be exercising on a full stomach. In fact, for those of you interested in really taking your health to the highest level possible, and I know everyone here has some interest in that, but if you really want to do the best you can, as I said to you, most of you, when you leave here, will not be ready for 1 or 2 meals a day, because you're going to still have stuff in your digestive tract you need to eliminate. And because you have stuff in your digestive tract, you can't eat 2 kilos of watermelon at one time. I can, but until your system is clean of all that stuff, that might be hard for some of you to do. So some of the people here right now said to me earlier this week, it's too much food. And it was one of those days where I would look at it and say, yeah, that's like 50 calories. How's that too much food for a fully grown adult? Okay, it felt like a lot of food because the pipes were full. And so bringing anything else in with water made it feel even more full. But that changes. So eventually what you're going to want to do, though, when you can, is get to the point where you're really only eating when your body needs food, when it's hungry, and you're stopping when your body's satisfied. And what that means for most people is probably going to be 2, maximum 3 times a day that you eat anything. But 2 is best, okay, for most people. A few people can do well with 1. That doesn't work so well for most people unless you stuff yourself. And I don't think that makes sense. So I prefer 2 meals a day in a 4-hour eating window rather than grazing all day long or having multiple meals. Now, if you're doing that, if you're doing 2 meals a day in a 4 to 6 hour window, then you want to exercise as late into that fasting time as possible before your first meal. Why? Because your human growth hormone levels are at their highest. Okay, they peak at around 20 or so hours into a fast. So even if it's a 6-hour eating window, that means it's been 18 hours since your last meal. If if it's just before you eat again, it's been 18 hours. Well, if you exercise in that hour or that 15 or 20 minutes before you eat, you've got the highest levels of human growth hormone. And that means fastest muscle growth. Okay, you're going to get the most benefits from your exercise in that state, in the fasted state. Now, not a week into a fast, not 3 weeks into a fast, 20 hours into a fast. Beyond that, you start to consume muscle. Okay, not such a good idea. But under 1 day, you want to exercise as late into that fasting period as possible. So you may not know this, but I virtually never eat before 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, by which time I've exercised and been working already since 5 a.m. No problem. If in the past that didn't work for you, it wasn't from the lack of food. Remember, for those of you that were here at the time, we don't run on food. What do we run on? Electricity, microelectric current. Your body uses food to make the energy, the electricity, but you're running on electricity. And you've already got a full battery's worth when you wake up in the morning. So you don't need food to make you go. If you have trouble going without eating, that's because you're detoxing in the absence of food. Once you get your body clean enough, there is no detoxing. So you feel perfectly fine without eating anything. Okay, there's no dizziness, there's no wobbliness, there's no weakness, there's no tiredness, there's no hangriness, there's none of that stuff. Okay, you wake up, you feel perfectly fine, you do whatever you need to do. I mean, I can, go hike 25 miles and work out for an hour and work for 3 hours and have eaten nothing. No problem. Because I'm running on electricity, which I have. Okay? So you never want to eat before you exercise. Not ever. Okay? Now in the old days when I was a kid, they would teach you need a carbo load. Like if you're going to do a big output of energy, whether it's a marathon or whatever it might be. I was a swimmer. Okay, you've got a meet in the morning. You need to eat a bunch of carbs before the meet so you have energy. No, you don't need to do that. Okay? First of all, imagine that you're going on a long car trip. Your tank is full, but you're thinking, that's not going to be enough fuel. I'm going to need more fuel later on. So I'm going to put some more fuel in there. Can you fill up a tank that's already full? Are you helping by trying to put more fuel in there than the tank holds? You're not helping your body by trying to overeat. And you're overeating as long as one thing isn't present. What's the one thing that should be present to eat? Hunger. If you're eating and you're not hungry and you're eating because you're thinking you're going to be hungry later on, you're overeating. You're forcing your body to do the work of processing food when it doesn't want any food. That's not helpful. Can everyone see that? So this whole idea it's absurd. The reason that it worked for people is that the average person eating an average diet feels like crap until they eat. But if your body's clean, you're going to have the most energy, the most strength before you eat, when you're not burdened by food. Okay, does that make sense to everyone? Okay, so you're always going to eat afterward. All right? Exercising, by the way, does not make you hungry because you're running on electricity. Right? So if you feel hungry, what's going on is that's something else. It's not real hunger. It's not physiological hunger. There's no reason to go have a big meal once you've exercised. No, I mean, I understand that feeling, but that's not the body's real call for food. That's something else. Something else happening. I mean, yes, you're going to need to refuel eventually, but it's not like, oh, now that I've exercised, right now I have to eat. I don't think so.
No, but when you exercise, are you not more hungry than somebody that doesn't?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. That's so if you've spent a month, well, most of you have spent most of a month doing very little, right? And eating few calories. Okay? With calories you're getting from your body. But if you start being active, yeah, of course your body's going to need more fuel. Of course you will. If there's more energy output, there needs to be more energy coming in. Right? Because your body's using the food coming in to produce, it takes energy to make energy. You're using the energy coming in to produce the electricity that we actually run on. So yes, of course, if you've spent a month being a couch potato and decide you're going to run a marathon every day, you're going to have to eat more. Most likely, unless you're already eating too much. I mean, your caloric needs, the actual need for calories will definitely go up. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. Probably.